What's up, everyone? It is about that time. Race day is here. Well, tomorrow, technically, but we're getting ready. And it is a very busy weekend in the Brown household because not only is it race day tomorrow, but Sunday we are having our Lunar New Year's celebration with our family. You might see some red Lunar New Year themed decorations around the house. We're trying to get all that ready since we're going to be gone really all of tomorrow up in Sacramento for the race. I was telling Ian this earlier, this is probably the most prepared I've ever been for an erg test, because in high school and college you're usually not peaking for or training specifically for erg tests. They're just a part of your training program. It was a very different experience for me, actually training specifically for an erg test. So unlike every other erg test I've probably ever done in my life, I want to actually go into this thinking of it as fun. And it's not necessarily about the erg test itself. Of course it's going to hurt, it will be uncomfortable, that just comes with the territory, but it's more my attitude overall in the lead up to it and even coming out of it. If I knew an erg test was coming the next day in high school or college, I would be pretty nervous, right? Because sometimes there could be a spot in a boat on the line. Certainly coaches would be taking stock of your performance during those tests. And so it always felt like there was a lot on the line. Or of course this time, really nothing on the line. Purely for fun, just to see where I'm at. The measuring stick. So I'm really excited for tomorrow. So let's do a quick what's in the bag, because like I said, I've prepped more for this than I probably have for any other erg test or race in my life. So I am packing a gym bag. Of course, we've got the requisite change of clothes, towel, extra tops, extra, I even am packing my uni suit, my college uni suit. I don't plan on wearing it to race, but this is an emergency in case something happens. You never know. Snack bars, make sure to have a bag for the dirty laundry. Perhaps most important, deodorant, just in case we're not able to shower. This could be as good as it gets. Of course, my shoes that I have been training in, so nothing new on race day. We've got the GoPro kit. Headphones. Now, I made sure, actually when I was doing my final visualization row today, I made sure to create a playlist just for the race. So yeah, I found 2 songs that I really liked that are about 7 minutes long, put them on a Spotify playlist. I'll hit play on those sort of right before the test. Got some just little, I guess, sweat towels here. I am bringing my seat cover. Yes, might seem ridiculous, but I've been training on this for the last month. I've been really happy with how it feels. Unless there's some weird rule that doesn't allow me to use it, I'm gonna use it. And then I've got an assortment of stretching, myofascial release balls, massage balls. This looks like a medieval torture device, but is really for psoas, other muscles in the hip area. I found that to be really effective. Got my pre-workout. So this I'll be nursing about 45 minutes before the race. I have used it about a half dozen times or so I know my body responds well to it. And then I've got my recovery drink as well for after the race. So we'll be hitting the road pretty early in the morning tomorrow, probably around 7:30. It's a 1.5 to 2 hour drive, so I definitely want to get there long enough before my race that I have some time to just stretch out and just get the blood flowing again. So I'll probably start my warm up half an hour before my race, maybe a little bit more than that. Make sure I'm nice and warm, nice and sweaty, and then we'll get into it. See y'all in the morning. Good morning, guys. So got up at 6 and pretty much hopped right on the erg. Just wanted to loosen up. So not even looking at the split, just going up and down the slide. just to get the body loose, get the blood flowing a little bit. So did that for about 2,000 meters. Now we're just getting some breakfast in. Got our Greek yogurt with granola, making myself a coffee. And that'll be it. Bag is packed, ready to go. We're gonna hit the road. We will see you in Sacramento. What's up, everyone? We made it. We're here, Sacramento State Boathouse. You can see people in the background warming up on the ergs. We are all allowed to have a coxswain during our race. And so my coxswain is my buddy, Max. I'll introduce you since I'm putting you on the spot, but Max and I rode together in high school. In fact, you were in the boat my very first time I ever rode on the water. I remember hitting you in the back with my oar dozens and dozens of times.
I think I must have convinced you to come out and try it out back when
you were in,
so
like, Max,
you were in 9th grade.
10th grade. So Max was the reason why I started rowing. So I owe a lot to this guy. You're a very good high school rower. Ended up going on to row at Cal Berkeley, as painful as that is for me to say. Yeah, Max has offered to come out today and cox me through this. So
get it on.
We'll see. Any prognostications from you on what's going to happen today?
No, just a lot of sweat and grit and pain. So,
that's right, pain.
The pain train.
Lots and lots of pain. Yeah. So let's hope we're ready for it. I'm gonna get my warm up going. Yeah,
go get it.
Let's do it. I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to hear, but I'm warming up in the boat bay. Races are going on right upstairs above me. Just did 1,000 meters, really just stretching out. Not focused on pace at all. Going to do another 2,000 meter just steady state. Get a sweat going, and then another 1,000 to 2,000 meters with a couple short bursts. And then hopefully we'll time it just right so that when I finish my warm-up, they call me upstairs. So let's keep warming up. All right, so at this point I've done my stretch 1,000 meters, just sliding up and down the erg, not paying attention at all to the split, just to loosen up after the 2-hour car ride. So here we go, I'm starting 2,000 meters, just steady state. Trying to get my heart rate, you know, around 130, just to get a light sweat going. 2,000 meters, I was about 8 minutes or so, and you know, had my headphones in, so really trying to tune out all the noise around me. And as you can see, obviously pretty busy in the boat bay. You've got people warming up all around, you've got spectators walking around, you've got people yelling, cheering on the competitors upstairs. So a lot of distractions, but you know, I had my music in. I was just kind of in my own world, not really paying too much attention to it. Checking the time pretty regularly because I was really trying to time my warm up so that I would have a few minutes, at least 10 minutes in between finishing the warm up and the start of the race. So put on my race top. And now we're jumping into 2,000 meters where I'm actually doing a few short bursts. So a couple 15-stroke bursts just to obviously get a little more warmed up, get the legs firing. And at this point, I kept checking my phone because I noticed that they were running a little bit behind. So the event that was before me started, I don't know, 5 or 8 minutes late. And so I didn't want to finish my warm up and leave too much time. So I slowed down a bit. And oh, here's another 15-stroke burst. But in between these bursts, and now you can see Max is sitting next to me. We were chatting a little bit. I think we actually were talking about where we were gonna go get lunch after the race. So maybe I wasn't as focused as I needed to be. But anyway, and then I finished my warm up with 1 minute at full race pace. So for some people, even for me, I think before this, I would have thought that a minute at race pace was too much for a warm-up. But if you've ever done intervals, on the rower, like let's say 8 by 500 meters, it's very common that the second and third intervals actually feel easier than the first. It almost takes your body that first interval to wake up. And that's the thinking behind this particular warm-up strategy. So I really like that. And the minute at race pace felt good. And I think I ended pretty much right on time. So threw my warm-ups back on, and off we went. So, got a little bit of a good news, bad news situation here. I'll start with the bad news, which is that I was not able to get my GoPro set up in time to actually record myself during the race. Reason being that as we were walking up the steps, one of the organizers on the PA said, "You guys have plenty of time, go ahead, find your erg, get settled in." So I took my time. I was still wearing my sweats, found my erg, sat down. I still didn't even have my pants off, and I heard him say the call for attention, which in rowing lingo basically means you're about to go off in a few seconds. And so raised my hand, indicate I wasn't ready, and actually one of the straps on my foot stretcher wasn't even set up, so I had to fix that as quickly as I could, got undressed, shoes tied. It was a bit of a flustered 20 or 30 seconds or so to get ready to go. I didn't even have a chance to even think about the GoPro. That's the bad news. The main reason I'm really bummed about that was because I really wanted to get Max behind me and get audio of him actually coaxing me through the race. Max had some really, really great calls during the race that were super, super helpful. It's a bummer I didn't capture that on camera, but it is what it is. So that's the bad news. The good news is that Ian was downstairs in the boat bay where they had a spectator area. So they had a camera that was shooting the race floor, and they were feeding that to a couple TVs downstairs so that people hanging out, spectators, could watch. They also had the boats, sort of virtual boats, on a projector so that folks could see real time what the standings were in the race. So Ian was able to get some footage from where she was downstairs, which actually ended up being great. It was really all we need. That's the good news. Let's jump into the race. Okay, so here we go off the start. You can see Max is sitting right behind me in that chair. He's calling out some of my start cues. That first 500 after the start is where it's very, very easy because you have so much adrenaline going to go out way too hard. And it feels easy, right? You think you can sustain that forever, but if you go out too hard, you pay dearly for it in the second half of the race. And so it takes a lot of discipline to back off a little bit in that first 500. But this is where I think experience comes into play too, and just having a very specific race plan and sticking to the race plan. So after my starting 10 strokes, I very quickly settled in to my target pace and felt pretty good. Max was giving me reminders to really focus on breathing, and he kept saying throughout the race, right, the more air I can take in, the stronger I will be. So that was a really good call on his part. Second 500 was quite similar. I felt pretty good. So I definitely felt relaxed, and I actually wasn't really focused at all on what was happening around me. I had almost tunnel vision on my monitor, and I just wasn't really, honestly, paying much attention at all to all the noise around me. I was just, locked in on Max's voice. So we get to the 1,000-meter mark, and the 1,000-meter mark is specifically that third 500, that third quarter of the race is where 2Ks are typically won or lost. Right around the 1,000-meter mark, Max had an amazing call, which I really wish I could have gotten on camera, but You know, he wasn't yelling or anything, but he just said really firmly, you know, anyone can make it to 1,000. Anyone can race 1,000 meters, right? Now is when the race begins. Now is when your race begins. And that just got me super pumped up. And I was still feeling, I mean, it was hurting by that point, but I was feeling good enough that, you know, I was able to kind of take Max's call and just drive forward. The third 500 was pretty solid. And that was actually where I pulled away from pretty much everyone else in the race. Now, I wasn't seeing that. This is what Max told me after the fact, but apparently that third 500 is where everyone else kind of dropped off, and I basically stayed consistent at my target pace the whole way through. And then the last 500, again, we stuck to the race plan. My plan was to bump the stroke rate up 1 beat every 150 meters or so, the last 500 meters, so that hopefully I'd be able to sprint and just empty the tank. So Max called me through that.
Oh shoot, Bentley dropped it down to 1.
Oh my God.
Come on, Bentley! Let's go, Bentley! Push it through a minute!
Let's go, Bentley!
Go, push it!
Come on, Nate!
Push now. Come on. 30.
I mean, it was over kind of before I knew it. I didn't really even have a lot of time in the moment to overthink anything. I just had the race plan in my mind, Max's voice in my ear. All I could see was my monitor, and just felt really locked in. And we finished the race, and I actually didn't even know the result until probably 10 or 15 seconds later, but. Yeah, so overall, very pleased with how race day went. It was a lot of fun, and above all else, it was just a great opportunity to reconnect and hang out with friends. So obviously Max was there. You know, I don't get to see him all that often these days. Some of Ian's girlfriends came out, watched the race, and so, you know, we all hung out the rest of the afternoon, which was amazing. So just a lot of fun, just being with friends in that kind of environment. I'll go into a more detailed retrospective on the race and the last few months of training in a separate video, but what I'm most happy about coming out of this is it's validation to me that obviously the training I've been putting in has been working, but not only that, that the more methodical approach I'm taking has been working as well. I think I mentioned earlier, I had written up my race plan Tuesday or Wednesday last week and sent it to Max. As part of my race plan, I had a target pace in mind, as well as a target stroke rate. I finished my race within 1/10 of a second of my target pace. So my target pace was 1 minute 35.9 seconds per 500 meters. I averaged 1 minute 35.8 seconds per 500 meters. And my time was right around what I thought I could pull if I was feeling good. So as you get up there in age, it's all about training smarter, not necessarily harder. And this was just great proof that I think my training approach has been working. So I will need to think through what's next. So stay tuned. I'm sure I'll have another video about that, but there will be some new goals that I set. Some rowing related, for sure. I don't think I'm anywhere near done doing what I think I can do on the rower, but I also recognize that mentally I need to find a way to keep things fresh and not burn myself out. We'll see what that looks like, but stay tuned for that. All in all, I feel very blessed. Certainly couldn't have done it without the support of many, many people. Obviously, Ian being my #1 fan, being with me through this journey. My mother-in-law for watching our kids Friday night and Saturday so that we could go up to Sacramento. numerous other friends and family that have chimed in since I started this journey, offering words of encouragement and support. So it truly takes a village. I'm not doing this on my own, and I'm really excited to continue on and see how far we can go. So on that note, until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep chasing. Peace.
Love.